Waste of an MBA. My business partners laughed, kicking me out. 3 years later, Google offered me $500 million. Suddenly, they were at my door. Please, it'll destroy us. I smiled at the contract and signed my name with the Mont Blanc pen they'd given me as a joke when they'd thrown me out. The irony wasn't lost on me. Vanessa, please. Think about what you're doing, Marcus pleaded from across my dining room table. The same table I'd bought from a thrift store 3 years ago because they'd frozen my assets during our amicable business dissolution. I have thought about it for approximately 3 years, 2 months, and 15 days. Ever since you voted me out of the company I co-founded. It wasn't personal. You literally said my idea was what happens when we let emotional women into the boardroom. Marcus. How much more personal could it get? Blake, my other former partner, cleared his throat. Look, we made a mistake. We see that now. Your app. It's brilliant. Oh, now it's brilliant? What happened to stupid, worthless, and my personal favorite, a waste of an MBA that clearly should have gone to someone with actual business sense? They exchanged uncomfortable glances. 3 years ago, they'd sat in our shared office, laughing at my presentation. 3 Stanford MBAs who'd started a consulting firm together, until I dared to suggest we pivot to tech. Nobody wants another wellness app, Blake had said. The market's saturated. This is different, I'd insisted. It's not just meditation or fitness. It's comprehensive mental health support, AI-powered therapy matching, crisis intervention. Therapy, Marcus had snorted. You want us to pivot our entire business model for a therapy app? What's next, virtual hugs? Mental health is a multi-billion-dollar industry. For real doctors, not tech bros playing psychologist. I'm not playing anything. I've done the research, partnered with licensed therapists, psychiatrists. We could revolutionize access to mental health care. Blake had stood up, designer suit impeccable as always. There is no we in this delusion, Vanessa. I own 1/3 of this company, which we're prepared to buy out. Today, sign here, take your payout, and go chase your little app dream. But Precision Point Consulting isn't becoming some touchy-feely tech startup because you had a midlife crisis at 30. You can't force me out. Read the operating agreement. Marcus had slid papers across the desk. Section 7.3. 2 partners can vote to dissolve the third's involvement if they deem their vision destructively incompatible with company direction. I'd read that clause. I'd even laughed about it once, calling it the divorce clause we'd never need because we were friends. Friends from business school. Friends who'd started this company in Blake's garage with nothing but ambition and instant ramen. If I leave, I'm taking my idea with me. What idea? Blake had smirked. Some doodles on a napkin? A half-baked presentation? Good luck getting funding for your Feelings app without our connections. They'd offered me $200,000 for my third of the company. A company valued at $3 million, largely due to clients I'd brought in. But fighting would have meant lawyers I couldn't afford and time I didn't have. I'd signed, but not before making copies of every piece of research, every contact, every late-night brainstorm session where I'd developed what they'd mocked. The pen, I'd said as I'd prepared to leave. I want the pen. They'd given me the Mont Blanc as a gag gift for closing our first major client. For signing the big deals, the inscription read. They'd found it hilarious to give the only woman partner such a phallic symbol of success. Seriously? Marcus had laughed. Take it. You'll need something to pawn when your startup fails. That pen had signed every document for Mindbridge. Every contract scrawled in coffee shops because I couldn't afford an office. Every partnership agreement with therapists who believed in the vision. Every page of the journal where I'd written, "They're wrong," on nights when ramen was dinner again and doubt was dessert. 6 months in, living off savings and spite, I'd built a prototype. Basic, buggy, but functional. Users could input their mental health needs, and the AI would match them with appropriate therapists, support groups, or crisis resources. The therapists loved it, a platform that pre-screened clients and handled scheduling. The users loved it, affordable, accessible, stigma-free mental health care. But investors? They sounded like Marcus and Blake. Mental health is too niche, too regulated, too touchy-feely for tech. Until Sarah Cato called. I've been following Mindbridge, she'd said. Sarah ran Cato Ventures, known for early investments in unicorns. My daughter used your app. It saved her life during college. I'd like to discuss investment. Investment turned into $2 million seed funding. The app exploded. Turns out, a pandemic was coming. and suddenly everyone needed accessible mental health care. MindBridge went from 10,000 users to 10 million in 18 months. We added features: group therapy sessions, psychiatric consultations, employer partnerships. Companies bought subscriptions for employees. Insurance companies partnered with us. We were saving lives and making money, apparently not mutually exclusive after all. Then Google called. "We'd like to acquire MindBridge," they'd said. "Full integration into our health suite. Your technology, scaled globally, could help billions." The number they'd offered had made me dizzy. $500 million. For my stupid app idea. Which brought us to today. Marcus and Blake in my dining room. Not the thrift store table anymore, but a custom piece from a local craftsman. Everything in my house was chosen, earned, deserved. Including this moment. "You don't understand," Blake said desperately. "If Google acquires MindBridge, they'll destroy our consulting contracts. Half our clients are healthcare companies who'll jump ship for Google's integrated solutions. So, we'll go under, Vanessa. The company we built. The company you built after kicking me out? The company that was too good for my touchy-feely ideas?" "We were wrong," Marcus admitted. "Is that what you want to hear?" "We were wrong, you were right, we're sorry. What I wanted to hear was interesting idea, let's explore it 3 years ago. What I wanted was my business partners to trust my vision. What I wanted was to build something revolutionary with my friends." I picked up the pen, running my fingers over the inscription. "But you taught me something valuable." "What?" "That being underestimated is a superpower. That spite is better fuel than friendship. That building alone means keeping all the equity." "This is revenge," Blake accused. "No, this is business. Google offered the best terms. Their reach will help millions access mental health care. The fact that it'll crush the company that crushed me? Happy coincidence. We'll sue," Marcus threatened. "Tortious interference. You're deliberately. Try it. I have excellent lawyers now. They'll be thrilled to discuss how you forced out a female partner who presented a revolutionary idea, then watched that idea succeed without you. The optics alone. They deflated. The power dynamic had shifted so completely it was almost disorienting. 3 years ago, they'd held all the cards. Now I held the entire deck. Is there anything we can do? Blake asked quietly. Any way to make this right? I considered this. Not because I owed them anything, but because I'd learned something about bridges. Burning them was satisfying, but sometimes leaving them standing showed more power. Actually, yes. I pulled out a folder. MindBridge is acquiring companies that align with our mission. Precision Point has healthcare consulting expertise we could use. You want to buy us? Marcus's voice cracked. For a fair price. Probably less than you think you're worth. More than you'll get in bankruptcy when Google destroys you. I slid the offer across. You'd work under my leadership. Follow my vision. Trust my emotional woman ideas. The number was insulting. I knew it. They knew it. But it was better than nothing, which was their alternative. This is humiliating, Blake muttered. Yes, it is. About as humiliating as being laughed out of your own company for having vision. But unlike you, I'm offering a choice. Sign and work for the company you mocked, or don't and compete with Google. Either way, I win. They signed. Of course they signed. With the same pen they'd given me as a joke. Welcome to MindBridge, I said, taking back the pen. Staff meeting is Monday at 8 a.m. Don't be late. I hear the new CEO is a real emotional woman about punctuality. After they left, I sat in my office, looking at the framed napkin on my wall. The original MindBridge concept, sketched during a lunch break when I'd still believed in partnership. Below it, the Forbes cover. How Vanessa Torres built a mental health empire from spite and hope. My phone buzzed. Sarah Cato. Heard about the Google deal. And the Precision Point acquisition. Playing the long game. They needed to learn that mocking someone's vision doesn't kill it. It just ensures you won't benefit when it succeeds. Remind me never to underestimate you. That's the thing, Sarah. The best revenge isn't destroying those who underestimated you. It's succeeding so spectacularly that they have to beg for scraps from the table they kicked you away from. And then you feed them. Because true power isn't in letting them starve. It's in letting them eat while remembering they once thought you'd be the one begging for crumbs. The Google contracts would be signed tomorrow. Precision Point would become a subsidiary next month. Marcus and Blake would report to the 26-year-old head of acquisitions I'd hired. A brilliant woman they definitely would have called too young and emotional 3 years ago. I picked up the Mont Blanc pen one more time, reading the inscription. for signing the big deals. They'd meant it as mockery. I'd made it prophecy. And that's the thing about having the last laugh. It sounds even sweeter when it's worth $500 million. This stupid app idea they'd mocked would help millions find mental health support. Their smart business decision would leave them as employees at the company they'd rejected. Some might call that poetic justice. I called it Tuesday. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.